Big up, big up, big up, everyone. And we're trying a new thing. We're starting together tonight. And it's me and my buddy Drex. And you know how it is. We're doing the breakdown to Mission Impossible, Ten Hag, Manchester United. As we deal with the fallout, as we fall out and crash out of the Champions League, guys. And you know how it's going. It's a tough one. And United fans are hurting everywhere in different ways. Some are Ten Hag out, some are Ten Hag out, some are Ten Hag in. You know what I mean? And my buddy over here, he's have mixed emotions. I'm thinks I'm probably overly positive and too positive. You know what I mean? But we have different contrasting opinions on this, and maybe our buddy will come in later and give us a third perspective. But let's hear from my buddy first, and I will finish off after him. Let's go, Drex. What's going on, my bro? What are you
Yo,
feeling? How
yo,
do you feel
yo,
about hearing the results and the
yo,
current
man.
state of affairs with Manchester United? What three questions I have for you? How do you feel? What do you think is going to solve this What do you think are the mistakes the manager has made for you and the solutions for those mistakes? And then I want to hear you think maybe, what are your perspectives on, if he remains or if he goes. So those are the three questions I posed to you.
All right, thanks for having me on the stream. Big up everybody in the room. Everybody's watching this. Please don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to share. Most importantly, leave your comment in the comment section below. Yeah. Now to answer your question, I'm gonna kick start with the first one. The first one is um. Well, if I what was the I got the last two. Let me remember the first one correctly. If I was down or if I had anything to say as touching the result of yesterday, no, I don't. Like I actually knew it would be it would be a miracle if we actually went through to the round of 16, let alone Europa League. Now, I didn't want Europa in the first place. I don't want Europa. No, no, I like I'm currently sitting on more like the out of the nag. I don't, simply because of a reason I would give later in the stream. McTominay, for me, he keeps doing the manager keeps doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. We all know there's some certain players in that team that shouldn't be starting. Honestly, where see these guys are they're the epitome of the failure we have as United. You look at the club, you look at these players, and you can't separate the two of them as a result, in terms of the failure the team or the club has experienced in the last call it 9 to 9, let's say 8 to 10 years, right? Now, expecting those players to turn a new leaf is like how would I put it now? It's like waking up in the morning without going to work and without having gone to work for the past 1 month, knowing fully well that you don't have a job, and you just look at your bank and just there's what $3 billion in there. It's like that's not possible. And when you keep using or keep doing the same thing the over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result, man, you might get the odd result year and again, but that doesn't make it finite. That doesn't make it sustainable. When I hear fans keep saying sustainability, they are right, because you can't keep playing the likes of Luke Shaw, the likes of especially McTominay, the likes of Dalot, and they expect to get a superb result week in, week out. No. Now that's on the manager for picking those players and trusting those players to actually turn the pages when we all know that they are not. Imagine a Luke Shaw here for over 9 years. What has he won? Other than the calendar, other than the cup that the manager gave to him, what has he actually achieved? You have a McTominay, that the same players that let Ole down in the final of the Europa League, the same players that let this same manager down in the final of the FA Cup, the same players that let this manager down in the is it the semi final or the quarterfinal of the Europa League last season? Is it the same players the manager is believing and hoping and trusting in? Now, people will come at me and say, but the board didn't back him. Yes, the board didn't back him. I share in that concern. I agree to that fact, right? But now, here is my stand with Eric Ten Hag. Yo, you were at Ayers, you were playing a good, interesting football that made the most majority of the fans, if not all, but I say majority of the fans want you at this football club because we like the style of play you were playing. We like the fact that quote and unquote you looked like someone that was that could be strict and could make the bold decisions, could actually make decisions that would be in the favor of the team, not just yourself. But what I'm seeing right now is someone that is just trying to grind that win to keep his job, and I don't I'm not a party to that. I don't accept that because it's the same thing Ole did, try to keep his job. If ended up what doing losing his job. Mourinho walked the same path, tried to keep his job. They ended up losing their job. Louis Van Gaal walked the same path. He tried to play to keep his job instead of him playing to suit his philosophy. But they all played to keeping their job and ended up losing it at the end of the day because guess what? The players are bigger in Manchester United. The players are bigger than the manager. When once the players sense that there's a part for that there's a hole that the manager has to walk into. They just create it and let the manager walk into it and push him and bury him in there because what they have the backing of the club. Now this is me coming to say Eric Ten Hag. We've seen this pattern before with previous managers. We've seen it. The board is not ready. The owners are not ready to make bold decisions in terms of moving this club forward. Now, if the owners are not going to do anything as touching their property, and those people they employ to actually make sure that they put the football first are not going to be doing it in terms of the players, why do you think as a manager you would change it? Why do you think you want to be the savior? Bro, you're not the savior. Walk away. Now, if you say you don't want to walk away and stick to your guns and still do the same thing that previous managers did that got them sacked, then I can't back you. I will not back you. I will not sit here and look at somebody doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting a different result. It's like telling me I'm a fool itself for believing somebody that will be doing stupidness and expecting a different result, right? No, so if I'm backing that person, it means I share in that insanity as well, and I don't want to be. We 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 called it back then. It was we called it back then. McTominay and Fred, we said we're not good enough. Now, for some reason, he decided to keep McTominay in the bench last season. McTominay didn't really get a lot of game time. Fred stepped in, and we saw that okay, it wasn't really Fred that was the problem. We know Fred had his own deficiencies, right? But it feels like oh, Fred is way better than McTominay. But guess what? The ambitious Fred decided to leave. Don't get it wrong. The club did not want to sell Fred, in my opinion, because they don't like to sell. They like to run down contract. Fred took it upon himself to say, you know what, I want to leave. I want to go and do something with my career, with my life, right? It's the chapter here is you as a player, you should know when to say, okay, my race is run here. Let me go somewhere else. As a manager, you should know. You don't wait to get sacked. These owners they don't, what's the word? They shouldn't be sacking a manager because they don't know what they are doing. So let the manager take up the thing and work. If the manager cannot make decisions, imagine telling a player to do X and he's going behind your back to talk to the owners and they kind of twist it around and say, okay, you are not doing your job. What are you doing there? You might as well just wake up on Monday and end in your resignation and just leave. But people, is that time up for me?
No, no time up, but it's just sad. Just hearing that part is really sad.
No, because the truth is, if you can't, if no, let's dip it down now. I'm working for your company. You employed me to be the head or the take a role in the company. Then I'm trying to fix the debts. I'm trying to mop up the debts that are actually here and there. And it comes to certain individuals, and I'm talking to them, and they were like, "Okay, now I'll listen to you." Then they come to you, and you don't even rebuke them. You don't even say, "Get in line." I'm not saying you don't even tell them and say yo and my hands are not in this one and my hands are off. You have to listen to that guy. If you don't listen to that guy, whatever that guy decides, we would do. if you're not doing that, if you're actually caressing the ego of that set of those set employees of yours, you by so doing are already undermining the manager or the project leader in the eyes of those employees, such that they'll disrespect the manager. And once a manager is at that level, it's only a matter of time he would get the sack. These managers, these owners don't deserve to be sacking managers that have proved to be good at their job. They don't deserve, they don't have the right. So I'm saying, Eric Ten Hag, listen, if you think, which I believe, you think your hands are tied, bro, it's not a thing of pride. Get up, wake up, and tell them you can't do this anymore. People would snatch you off the market if you resign today. They will. So don't let this club ruin your career. That's my own bond with Eric Ten Hag. Don't let this club ruin your career by giving you the sack. They don't deserve it. They shouldn't be sacking any manager. A club that would put the players over manager is not a well-run club. Walk away. That's my take. But if you want to keep doing the same thing and expecting a few fans like me to have your back, no, we won't be doing it. You can't be playing McTominay week in, week out, and it's like you're gambling. My body test just put him to the studio. He will tell you that it's like you're gambling, expecting a miracle, meaning that you threw you threw your tactics and your belief system out the window and expecting a lucky result. You don't do that. You don't play a McTominay that goes all through 90 minutes because it gives you a random header here, a random goal here. No, McTominay scored last against Brentford before he scored last against Chelsea, right? Before that time, it was Brentford. How many games did we play? Where did we really see him in those games? Was he really impactful in those games? No,
He had some chances in some of those games,
bro. But you and I know McTominay is not the
Test
player we
disappeared.
need.
Where'd he
I'm
go?
saying, I'm not saying McTominay is an awful player. I'm saying McTominay does not deserve the start. You've had players come up from the. Okay, what's the problem with Donny van de Beek? Why does Bruno get games
Before I
week?
get to
No,
you on that question, let's hear what Tesh has to say. Let's bring Tesh into the picture. Tesh, my bro, what's going on? How are you
Hi,
doing, my buddy?
I'm good. How are you? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, bro.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, now I see. Drex is very emotional here, which is good. Uh, so for me though, my thought would be this. I see Ten Hag as a hand to play in this whole thing, but I think when I don't know if everyone has been given a job, and then you think, right, probably you were set up to fail. So I think from the start, Ten Hag was set up to fail. In that, I hear, I'm not sure how true this is, when they mentioned, right, I think in his interview, Rashford was pivotal to him getting the job, probably bringing the best out of Rashford in being this star man. And I think for me, that's where the downfall started from. Because once you're coming into a team, I think the idea should be, how can I create a team, right, as opposed to basically trying to build up an individual, right? You could see currently what's happening to us this year is based on what happened to us last year. An individual was more so, to an extent, helping the team out, which was Marcus Rashford. I thought letting Ronaldo go was more so, we don't want to create individuals, we want to create a team. So I think from the start, Ten Hag was already destined to fail. Rashford last year helped us. Now this year his goals are not there. You could see now what's happening to the team. That's the mistake when you probably create you. So instead of creating a team, you're trying to what they call uplift an individual. I think that's where I think he made a mistake now. Secondly, right, now Ten Hag, I think with what he has, and to be fair, right, you can't like when you look at Ten Hag at Ayers, right, you know there is a manager there. There's 100% a manager there. Now the question is that what's happening in United, and I think it's more so the culture of the club. which probably my first point will also come in, is the culture of that club, right? For example, I don't know if you guys watched the game yesterday. If you looked at the second goal, is it the only goal, right? McTominay, right? When we're trying to win the ball, it was also there. There's several players that are not just McTominay, there were several players that were there. But the intent to win that ball, the Bayern players had it more. So the culture of the club, for me, from the inside, is already wrong. Now, how do we change that? We need to give Ten Hag a bit of time. We need to change some of these players. We need to bring in players that can actually work in a system he's trying to create. Because I think what he's trying to do now is more so, okay, which I don't think would work now. Is trying to play one pivot midfielder and then two upfront midfielders. I think only players with certain intelligence can actually carry that plan out. So I think we need to change the players. It needs to probably be a more realistic on what he thinks on what he thinks Manchester United are right now, the player's strength. Because for me, this season is almost a write-off. But we need to at least get somewhere. It should be realistic on what can we achieve this season. Can we play what I want us to play? Or do I let the board know we'll have to revert to type like we did last year? And then come up with what they call a strategy for next season. So for me, I will not be sacking Ten Hag. And I know Drake said Ten Hag should walk. I'll disagree with that in that he has a family. It's a job, right? If he works, he doesn't get paid. So if he wants to get paid, he needs to get sacked, right? And then he can get paid. So I think a whole lot is wrong. My hope here is Sir Jim Ratcliffe will come in and make changes from a leadership perspective. In that will probably trickle down to Ten Hag and down to the squad.
Whew. I kind of agree with you, Tesh. You know, I was taking a deep breath there because Drake started off and he was like feeling like he was boring me for the first time. I feel like my brethren against me, you know, like in a fight window. And I'm the contender on the right and he's the contender on the left because, bro, man wearing blue and white, you know, and talking Man United and he wearing blue and white. Jesus Christ. You know,
Tess,
let me don't make too much funnies, but you know, Drex, I understand what you're saying, and let me just say this much, right, bro? I want to explain it in a way that you know, because I don't disagree with some of your comments, I don't disagree with some of the way you feel, but I will say it like this: in life, when you get a job, like sometimes you know you go and apply to work for a job, and you know you go and apply to be assistant manager. Sometimes the senior manager, he not doing any work, you doing his work and your work in order for. But that's not what you sign up for, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing. But you're doing it because you know what I mean. If you don't do it and he fire you, it's his word against yours, and he's the senior, so who go and lose the job? You, right? So, in my honest opinion, for fans to be thinking from the perspective that if Eric Ten Hag can't choose the players he want to start, the 11 players, all 11 players, then he should walk. I think that's rubbish. I think that's a fantasy, right? And I think that they could only sit down and say that because they never was in a situation like that. Because in my honest opinion, you know, it's always going to have, yeah, you could do this, but you have some constraints. Now, if Eric Ten Hag was to win the Premier League, I think he could far well dictate whatever he want to do. Who's the starting 11, who is the substitutes, who in the academy, right?
Wait.
But what I do know that he is doing currently is that Eric Ten Hag has changed the system of style of play from the academy under 12, under 15, under 17, under 19, the second 11 in the Premier League, and the women's team. They all play in Ten Hag ball, right? And and I watching the youth team for the last 3 seasons more consistently. Before that, I was watching them. Maybe I might miss a game here or there due to work and some constraints and things due to the time difference. Because, you know, I was, you know, back and forth from Trinidad and Tobago at that time. So, like, I could tell you that, in my honest opinion, people don't know how much work going into this team currently. So when you look at the senior team and they say, well, you know, it had this play and it had this, a lot of people who talking about the youths, they don't even watch the youth team play. So all the youths that they know about is the ones that in articles that they just read, but they never see them play. So if they have a good game, of course they will be in an article. You know what I mean? But if you watch them week in, week out, you could see the chalk from the cheese. And that's why this summer was so important, because 7 senior players left, but 21 youth players was left the club. 21. From the ages of 20, go straight down to 17, left the club. 20 of them. And that shows that the manager decided over the summer, after the end of the season, the plan was to restructure, reformat, and get profiles that fit his system and start to develop them from academy level coming up. And that is another thing that you could see from that, is that 2 players that came up from under 15 straight to the under 19 team, Ethan Whitley and Ethan Williams. Not only the 2 of them, but there's also the young man Shea Lacey, who was moved up as well because of his progress, not only physically with growth, but his intensity and maturity of style of play. This is why you see, listen, like I would explain to men, the biggest reason the under-19s didn't qualify for Europe in the last 3 games is because they was without Dan Gore Jr. and without Kobe Mainu, also without Hannibal Medjbury and Joe Hugel. The 4 of them have joined the senior team of the last month. So they have not been playing for the youth team. So the youth team has to cope with 4 new changes in their 2 new changes to their midfield, a new striker, and a new captain. You understand? So when you look at the perspective that what happening with United last season, and I would say from last season, because this season point, I would say out of 100 is 30% of season 2 after his first season, right? And based on what we know with the club, the ownership, and the financial state, Ten Hag did not have the ability to say, let's get rid of 7 to 10 players and bring in 7 to 10 players, right? And so he bringing some players to steady the ship, right? Professionals. And we could see that those players, if they was the stalwarts of last season. Now, when we move on to this season, we start off this season with 16 injuries. Now, I'm not going to make an excuse for Ten Hag over this. Because you know me, bro, I don't make excuses. So, what I will say is that you have to consider that we start off with 16 players injured. We start off with the biggest toxic storm around our football team, that if fans really pay attention to themselves and pay attention to reality, they realize that they went against the team, because their wants more important than the team. You know what I mean? And like, we are fans, and yeah, of course, it would be nice to know that whatever we want, we get. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that that team had achieved glory for us to celebrate. So when we decide to protest a young man without factual evidence and a conviction based on an accusation, we didn't think about how the team as a whole going to react to that. Remember, you have to remember, these players are some of them grew up together. They are very good friends. They hang out together very regularly. These things become problematic, and this also becomes problematic for the manager. Because if the manager planned to have certain players in his squad and then we protest them out, and the club decide to get them out of the limelight, then the manager has to reschedule, reshuffle his plans. He has to reshuffle his deck because a card missing. You know what I mean? So when you look at that perspective, and then you add to these perspectives that he didn't get some of the first choice players he wanted, but he got some club signings. And all managers, Pep, club, all of them is get club signings. So I don't know why United fans suddenly acting like only Ten Hag is the only manager in the world who does sign players but don't get club signings. I think it's ridiculous. You know, I even heard some fans say Bayern was in second gear last night. Well, I wish those fans were I wish they were Bayern Munich fans and they were in Germany watching the game, because Bayern Munich fans were rioting because they don't know how they couldn't score against United. And it's not to say that they think that United was great. They think United defended well, but they think Bayern was also not play. They think Bayern was trying, but they wasn't trying hard enough. So a lot of people might say a lot of things, and I think is a lot to be sensational about. Because the reality is no manager in any club in the world you could give me, right, could coach Marcus Rashford a system in 2 seasons consistently. We've seen 5 managers tried and all failed, right? And when people tell me about, Ange Postecoglou coach a system and immediately working, I would remind everyone that Ange Postecoglou set a record in the Premier League for the first manager to lose 4 games straight. You understand?
Bro, this is where I'm
Just
gonna
now,
jump.
wait. I'll let you go on, bro. I assessing everything one time because I laid it out on the table because I want fans to understand. I want fans to understand it's not Mickey Mouse, it's not foot champs. Everybody here I sure is play FC24. This is not that. We could buy a player like I could do like having Rashford in my team and sell Rashford and bring in Hoyland.
Yes.
And because I playing with Hoyland and the controls, he will play well. But if I let the AI play with Hoyland, they mightn't do as well as me. He mightn't run just like how I want him, stop when I want him to stop, turn when I want him to stop. People just act like Ten Hag is have a Xbox controller controlling all these players. Big up to you, GB. Welcome to the chat room, my bro. Just giving a little bit of ideas on what we think is the problems and what we think could fix them. You know what I mean? Yo, and I'm just trying to say, Drex, is that and Tesh, is that basically, a lot of fans just say Ten Hag fault. But look at me, I watch football, right? If I could watch a team play open and then watch that same team play compact, who at fault if they don't know when to do that when they're 2 goals ahead and in away at home? The manager or the team? Because let me be realistic, all of them is football players. There's professionals. They're getting paid. So if they could play a compact game, you really go and say to me that the manager wasn't screaming out of the touchline to tell them, hey, get compact. I need you all compact. You all see his antics on the field. You know what I mean? You telling me the manager really didn't tell them fellas get compact. Look when they show compactness. I blame the players, bro. Because the players know they could execute this and this. Right? But the time when they need to execute it is what they're not getting right. And I'm not blaming them to say that they're shit, but I'm blaming them to say that some of them might just not be fit for purpose in the system, right? And then the others, maybe they're just not good enough. Because let's be real, it have some players who will be great in one system and shit in another. Look at Salah. He was shit at Chelsea. He was a flop for 2 seasons. He flopped at Roma. And then he came to the Premier League and he's a superstar. In his last contract of his career, let me be real. He was a flop all his career until he came to Liverpool. People is act like when Salah came to Liverpool, that was his first Premier League club. He spent 2 years at Chelsea flopping. Same thing with Kevin De Bruyne. Spent 2-3 years at Chelsea flopping. And then went to Man City and won.
So bro. So what you're saying in what you're trying to say is
that some players
you want to put it on the players,
you might
right?
expect that some players to learn a system in 6 months, in 9 months.
I don't expect
I'm just
it.
listen to me.
Okay.
Because I listen to I listen to everything you say, and I just giving you all the verdict how it translates to me. Because if you tell me a coach not implementing a system, I could watch everyone and I could show you. I could show.
I never said the coach doesn't implement his system.
No,
I'm
but I
saying
understand what I'm saying. You said that he not wrote. You also said earlier, maybe not in this, but earlier on that he not rotating the players enough. And I could say that you're wrong because we have played almost every single player in our squad bench this season who was fit. Right? Maybe even Donny van der Beek played against Crystal Palace.
20 seconds. 20 seconds football. Is that what you want to call giving a chance?
Listen to me. It's not 20 seconds football, bro. I don't know what you're talking about 20 seconds football. But what I'm going to try to tell
wait.
What I'm telling you is this. Listen to me.
Okay,
sometimes,
let me listen to you.
Sometimes, listen, you gotta remember, football is about chemistry. We could have players on the bench. They might not fit with some players. Like I agree Hannibal deserves to start some games, but If somebody telling me Hannibal should play in the 10, I looking at them like they're crazy. He doesn't offer nothing creatively going forward. He's a very good box-to-box midfielder. Somebody could bring something and bring a spark, bring energy, and keep the ball moving. He have good flicks and tricks, to play a pass as well. So I think he could be an 8. But you know what I mean? So it's like you have to understand that you have to look at football objectively. It have lots of players on the bench. But you see, this is how I look at Ten Hag, right? He's proved to the fans and proved to the ownership that this player is rubbish. He do it with Maguire last season. It take him 7 games in the start of the season. Maguire played the first 7 games, and after that, you never see Maguire again. You see him for cameos in between the season, but every time he come in, he did okay, and then he had a bookie moment sometimes. But he was showing even then. He was showing that he was doing some things. Understand what I'm saying? Even then, Maguire was showing that he was doing little bits, improving in little bits, in little moments, little flashes, right? Now this season, Maguire is statistically the best defender in the Premier League, my bro. Right? Now maybe we lose 3-0 against that team the other day, and his stats drop, but he was performing really well. So the only thing I could say to that is that, listen, sometimes it's how to rotate teams, but some places in the team, it is not about the player, it's about the relationship, it's about the team. So 2 centre backs is a partnership. It's about the best partnership. It's not about the best centre back. It's the best 2 together. Because the best centre back could be the best centre back, but sometimes he mightn't be working out. Look, everybody was on Varane back because he threw away the Copenhagen game twice. You understand? Twice he and Onana in 2 different games or 2 of the same games in the Champions League caused us to lose. But everybody's saying, where's Varane? Varane was not performing well this season. Maguire was. So bench Maguire. That makes no sense. Because here why? A lot of fans don't care that these players need to be sold. They feel like the club gonna just snap fingers and money coming out of thin air, because you know why? A lot of them spending money in the club. When half of them saying, you're not putting no money in the Glazers, they're not buying no kits. I know real men who's buy kits from other people and whatever. So I'm being honest. If we not buying kits and buying merchandise from this club to put money in the club so that they could buy more players and sell these players on the cheap, then at least we could back our manager who taking his time to get rid of them one by one. He might be able to get rid of them in bulk.
How is he getting them read one by one? He's not
patience
getting.
Is a virtue,
he's not
bro.
getting no.
Listen to me.
He's not getting.
Listen to me.
No, Mark.
How much
Mark,
transfer windows he had so far?
Mark.
How many transfer windows he had?
Mark, listen.
Answer my question. Answer my question first. How many transfer windows has he had?
2.
2, right? Cool. United don't buy in January, so we already know about January.
Okay,
right? So
I'm going to come to that. Hold that January thought. I'm going to come to that.
So he had the summer. Now, in the first summer, he gave everybody a clean slate. Any manager would have do that, right? Now, he tried to get rid of some players in the first summer. 1 or 2 of them leave. Boom. Second summer, he expressly tried to get rid of some players. The club did not help him. Okay, no problem. January coming, right? I could bet you $100 right now that Scott McTominay is worth his value of 40 million euros. We could get 35 million euros for Scott McTominay based on his performance this season. Based on Maguire performance this season, we could get 30, 40 million for him from whoever coming in for him. Now, I saying to you guys, if a player in form, whether he's a French player or not, when he in form is the best thing, especially when you want him out. And I would play him more so he get real game time. You know why? Because you want the starter to know he plays not secure. And on top of that, you want to be able to have a resale value because them fellas had none before. So the reality is sometimes it's had a give to get. And no, as much as I don't like Maguire and I might not like McTominay, sometimes it's had to start these fellas like I don't like Rashford. Like, bro, if I had my way, Rashford would have been gone since 2020. Right? We'd have get 90 M's for Rashford in 21-22. Normal, because PSG offer it, you're supposed to snatch that up. But it has certain fans who say, well, Rashford, he could come good. Let me tell you something, bro. I watching real football all my life, right? I'm
Rashford
being
is not
honest when
better
I
than
say this, right? I'm not trying to be, I'm not attacking him or anything when I say this. He is good. Where he should be, he will never go because his ego too big,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
True.
His ego too big, so he's
True.
stopping himself from being the Rashford that he think he is. You understand what I'm saying? It are plenty players like that. Look at Jadon Sancho. He's the best left winger we have. He's the best west winger we have in the whole club, apart from Mason Greenwood, Jadon Sancho. There's nobody on the wing better than Jadon Sancho. And let me tell you something, Jadon Sancho at his best, not even Saka starting in front of him. Because in my honest opinion, Saka average. But
So
Oliver
what
rate
happened?
Saka.
So,
What happened to
Saka is
Jadon Sancho?
a Greenwood
Mark,
substitute, you know,
What
bro.
what
Saka
happened to
life
Jadon
and
Sancho?
career was only a blessing because Greenwood get suspended.
Bro, that's the thing. That you have to
no,
be.
Mark.
You have to
No,
show some
bro. Because if
No, Mark,
Greenwood ever come back, if Greenwood was ever
Mark.
to come back, he would go back to the bench. He would never play a game
Mark,
again.
Mark, you have to be good in your profession, and I also have to have some level of integrity as a human being, and also need to be able to
if you
deal.
believe that,
Wait,
bro,
now listen.
you
You
living
have
in a beautiful world. I agree
I'm not
with what you're
listening.
saying.
I'm not.
But you have
It's
to
not
think
like it's
about
not.
it from a perspective where this is average people, normal human beings just like us.
You just
The only
said
difference is they're very
you-
talented at football. Now, some of them could care a lot, some of them might not care.
I'm saying
That is not their fault. That's just them.
You just said Marcus Rashford should be there, but his pride and his ego would not let him get there, right? And
Right.
also, you said Sancho is the best winger we have at the moment, other
But
than
it's the same problem.
Mason.
Pride and ego will not let them get
So that,
there.
so
And
now,
that had
good.
nothing to do with the coach. The coach can't help that.
Oh my Jesus! Now listen to me,
Mark. Can I ask one question, guys?
Yeah.
Mark,
Go
there's
ahead.
one thing I think it was critical to our season, right? Do you think Ten Hag should have sold David De Gea? Do you think they're giving
Ten
him one
Hag
extra
didn't sell
season?
David De Gea. If he did, I would have been Ten Hag out, to be fair. But Ten Hag offered him a new contract and the club decided to rescind the contract. So you can't blame Ten Hag for the club not selling,
So
the club deciding to do a bookie decision.
Test.
Because Ten Hag offered De Gea a new contract.
Mm-hmm.
We all know this. Ten Hag
Mm-hmm.
offered De Gea a new contract. He even convinced him to take a pay cut, right? And when De
Club
Gea
went
come to
behind his
sign the
back,
contract, the club tell him,
took it
forget
off,
that scene.
rescinded it. Okay. Now, Tess, do you see where I'm coming from? If a club that has previous record of not listening to a manager, now if that same
All
club,
clubs is do this. I don't know why you keep trying to make it seem
now,
like United is the only club that doing this.
bro,
Drex, stop
United.
talking like if it's only United is
Oh
do
my!
that.
Can you just let me finish?
Okay, go ahead.
United is the king of this.
All
We
clubs
don't.
just do it. Let me just say, bro, look at Doku. Where Doku come from? You feel Pep know about Doku? They just give Doku to Pep. If Doku was a flop, no, then you would be saying Pep DOF need to sell, need to throw away the DOF. Bro, Pep spent 600 million on centre backs and had to get rid of them. Pep spent over 400 million on goalkeepers, bro.
Is that
and
not
all
what
of
we
this
mean by
happened in less than
backing your
6
manager?
seasons. Listen to me.
Is that not?
I want you to hear him
Does
out.
that not mean?
I want you to
No,
hear him
listen.
out. First, hear him out. Because you're making it seem like if Ten Hag can't make a mistake. 2 players is nothing. I'm going to tell you something.
Saying he can't make a mistake. I'm saying when you
work like that, it's not perfect. And I keep telling fellas, you have to keep the energy for every single manager. You can't bring our energy to Ten Hag if you're not bringing it to Pep and Klopp. And you're not bringing that same energy to Pep or Klopp, bro.
Okay. Let's bring it to Pep. Let's bring it to Pep and Klopp.
I could name
Let's bring
10
it to Pep
players.
and Klopp.
I could name 2 players
ahead.
that Liverpool Klopp never wanted. And he get them, and there's the reason why he win a league. Can we name them?
Okay. Who tell me?
Mo Salah and Mane. Pep never wanted them.
That's a big
lie.
Is
the DOF bring them and tell him, hold that. We don't have a DOF. The problem is we don't have a DOF. When we get a DOF, give it a year and then tell me all what Ten Hag doing wrong.
I agree. I know Pep Klopp never wanted Salah, Mane. I'm not sure, but I know Salah wasn't his choice.
Exactly.
Joe,
So I just showing
Joe,
you. Now, men make
Joe. Pep
mistakes.
wanted Salah. Pep
Pep,
wanted Mane from Southampton. What are you guys telling me?
who Pep or
Yes.
Klopp?
Sorry, Klopp.
Klopp, sorry,
Klopp.
Klopp.
No,
Yes.
bro. No, bro.
Oh my
Hey, listen to
jeez.
me. Go listen to me, Drex. Before you argue, go on Google, pull up the story behind Klopp. Pep. Just type in Klopp, Pep, and Mane, and you are pretty sure the first article going to come up is the funny story how Pep end up with the two players that win him a title because he never wanted them. I could put my head on a block. He's come out and spoke about it, bro. Klopp said it himself. That's how I know his facts.
I will match your $100, right? And I will tell you this: Ten Hag, right, will not be backed by this board. Not in the January.
You
Not
looking
to
at it
see.
from.
I'm not looking at money. I'm not looking at monetary
I
aspect now.
don't need him
Forget
to
about.
be backed by
Forget the
crowd.
money.
All I
Forget
need,
the money.
is these players to self-destruct so we
support
could bench
system.
them. That's all we need. All
I'm
we
looking
need
at
is the players
support
to
system.
self-destruct
He
so they could
doesn't
bench.
have the support system from the owners and the board.
That's okay.
When a manager, what are you telling me? When a manager does not have the support system from the owners and the board and the people that are supposed to actually have his back, then he's doomed for failure.
Now
He's
listen,
doomed to fail.
bro. It have doom for failure, and then it have a
when
hard
certain
road ahead of you.
when certain players, listen, wait, let me land.
All
When
right.
certain players have the rights that a manager doesn't have. Now, this is what's going to happen. When Ten Hag gets sacked, right? When Ten Hag gets sacked, a new manager is going to come on the block. So the players like Rashford and McTominay would even look sure, right? These dreadful players, they would play to impress not the manager, to impress the board to get a new contract,
Okay.
and do the same cycle again and again.
Okay, listen.
So my question to you now is, when does the board actually sit deep down and say?
Let me tell you something, right? And this is what I keep telling you, right? The board had to go. The entire board had to go. The backroom staff had to go. All the coaches who were here before Ten Hag had to get fired. Every single person at United working there before Ten Hag started to work, fire them all.
Yes, that's the only way it changes. I agree.
Fire them all. Listen to me.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Listen to what I'm telling you here, right? I understand what you're saying, but he don't need the board to back him. And what I'm trying to explain to everybody is, even if the board don't back him,
wait, let me
have
big up
young players.
Big up Luan. Big up.
Big up Luan. How you doing tonight? Luan and GB always gaining, eh? Look, GB come back in saying, at the rate the team and Maguire playing is laughable as it is, Maguire may turn out to be the team's player of the season.
100%. But this is the same player that you wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, but you see, listen.
So now make it make sense to me. He's not
negative.
He's not.
You're looking at it like if that's a negative on Ten Hag.
To me,
it is not as positive on Ten Hag. I'm telling you, because this. Let me tell you something, right? And I will hear me out on this one. If when Ten Hag wanted to get rid of Maguire, right? Maguire decide he hire Carvalho to train him for 6 weeks over the summer, or 9 weeks or whatever it was he was training with Carvalho, right? So he trained with Ricardo Carvalho for 9 weeks. You know why? Because he want to fit himself back and be the best. So Maguire, when he realized, listen, this manager will play me, you know, but he not gonna play me if I not gonna play myself. If I not going back myself, right? So then he went and worked hard and he back himself. And now he's 100%, back. And if he's in good form, he plays. Now the same thing he do with Sancho. Sancho not backing himself. All right, take some vacation, buddy. Hire a coaching team to train you to get you to the elite level where you need to be. Enjoy. You do yourself, and I go protect you. Right? I will protect you for that 3 months you was away. I protecting you. So I protect your whole last season. And this season, all because I say to you, well, I didn't find you train well enough. You know, bro, like that's so small in my mind. That's so
I don't have.
small,
For me,
right?
Sancho can go to hell. I don't care. I'm just
Bro, I'm
saying
just
that.
showing you
I'm
how
just saying
people is
no,
just
but
make him seem a little
if you are using
molehill seem like a mountain, right?
yes, yeah, but
So
if you
if
are
it
using
is
one whip,
he do
if
this
you are
to
using,
Sancho, people will turn around and tell you the old Ten Hag out because he can't manage players,
I'm
right?
saying if you
People
do
will
that
listen to what
for
Zlatan
Maguire,
Ibrahimovic say.
what
And
has
Zlatan
what has McTominay done? What has
will
McTominay done
focus on
diff?
McTominay and thing that, bro.
No,
You
but this is
falling for the critic, for the media
no,
hype. Let me
but
tell you
when
something, bro. Forget that.
you are
Listen to
strong
me.
as your weakest link.
Bro, listen to me. You cannot use that example when you want to, bro. That example had applied to everything. And if you're using that example, then your statement that he rotating the wrong players is wrong. Because when you're as strong as your weakest link, Hannibal is the weakest link in this club. In this club after Rashford. It's Hannibal, Sancho, all of them fellas on the list for weakest links, you know, bro. Right? So when you want to use a youth or want to use this player, Varane, in my opinion, was a weak link, you know, because his performances this season, other than probably 2 or 3 games, bro, have left to be seen, you know, bro.
What
So when
happened
you
to
want to tell
wait?
me
What
about the
happened to the likes
weakest
of
link,
Palestri? What happened to the likes of Donny van der Beek?
okay, but Donny van der Beek, we
Wait,
don't already know what time it is with he. So why are you trying to make it this manager problem? He didn't sign Donny, boy. Stop telling him
bro,
about Donny van der Beek. When people tell me about Donny van der Beek, I watch them like, listen to me. Oli gonna sign him and never play him. Why you keep trying to blame Ten Hag for that? Yeah, what going on? If you like Donny van der
ten
Beek, cool.
ten
Power
ten
to
Hag.
you, bro.
No, I
And
don't
power
like
to
Donny
all
van.
those
See,
who like Donny van der
don't get
Beek.
me wrong. I
I
don't like
like
Donny
Donny
van
van
der
der Beek.
Beek. I
But
don't
let
like
me be real with you, bro.
I don't
Let me
like
be
Donny
real
van der
with
Beek.
you.
But I'm
Donny van
saying
der Beek
don't
time at
treat
United is up.
mhm.
It's
don't treat
time. It's
don't
time.
treat
No, no, no,
players
no, no. You
like
want a
garbage and
manager to be
expect the cohesion in the
ruthless, and
team.
then you don't want him to be ruthless. Then you ask it. You begging for a player.
Oh, you
Boy,
want him
listen
to
to
be
me.
ruthless and it's not ruthless, but he keeps playing
What?
McTominay week
What?
in, week out.
Yeah, because
Why would you?
McTominay in form. You mad?
How is
You
McTominay in
McTominay
comparing an
never
form?
informed
informed
player
though.
to a
How
player
is
who not
McTominay in
even in form,
form?
haven't played a game in weeks?
How is Mc?
McTominay,
Oh
brother
my
man,
jeez.
let me tell you something, right? And when you hear this from me right now today, bro, an informed player, right? Go back and check it, bro. Go back and ask any top football coach, ask anybody, right? An informed player, form is over 3 to 5 games, bro. And in the last 3 to 5 games, who better than McTominay? Only Maguire, bro. Right? You could come and tell me Garnacho. You could come and tell me Garnacho, bro. Garnacho has been playing rubbish, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Jadon Sancho is an awesome player before he come to United, Baldy. And to be fair, Bradley, we don't want Jadon Sancho here because he don't have the stones and the cojones to take criticism from his own manager and work hard and show performances on the pitch. So understand, my bro, living in Spain. Jadon Sancho has all the talent in the world, bro. But if you don't have the mentality to execute and to work hard and put the effort forward and be proactive, your talent will go to waste. And that's what we see with Jadon Sancho. So nobody in... I am a Ten Hag supporter, bro. I will be honest and say that. I could be wrong for backing Ten Hag. But I could see positivity. I could see changes. And I could see if we get certain players with certain profiles with the want to win, Ten Hag could be in a whole different realm of possibilities when it comes to performances and consistency in this team. But to talk about certain players that we know for the last 3 years have not been performing well at United, have not really established themselves, I cannot blame Eric Ten Hag for that. Marcus Rashford deserved to be sold since 2020, my bro. So
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 how do you call a Sancho out that he doesn't train properly, but the same thing you give a Rashford
when
game
did he
time
call
for
trash for bro? You let me tell you something.
he asked after the, wait
If
now
a
listen
manager
after
if
the
a
Arsenal
manager
game he
say he
was
didn't
asked a
train well,
question.
if
No,
a
he asked
manager say he
that was
didn't
an
train well, listen to me. His
mhm.
words was he didn't train well.
He
He didn't call him out. He didn't
no, I'm not
listen to
saying
me. He didn't
how do
make
you
no
say
listen. He didn't make no specific analysis. He didn't get nitty gritty in. He didn't
of
say
course
he
it
was
didn't.
all he
Of course
just
it
said.
didn't.
Listen to me.
Yes.
3 words, 4 words. He did not train well. 5 words. He did not train well. 5 words he said.
Okay, he did
And
not train well and did not get
if
a
you want
start.
to take it for whatever it is, cool.
But
I could say
Rashford
to you,
walks on the
Rashford
pitch
probably is
and
training
gets
harder than
start with the
training.
next week, get started the next week, and
Yeah,
you
but
expect a different result. Is that not insanity?
what?
So,
No,
so
you go ahead, Tesh.
no, so Mark, what he's saying is that basically Rashford's performance on the pitch, right, basically hasn't been up to scratch, right? So if we're saying that Jadon Sancho was basically not selected for due to lack of performance in training, how come Rashford starting week in week out when he doesn't even provide
Oh
the
well, I
basics on the
mean,
pitch?
it's that's easy to answer, bro. That's like Bukayo Saka. That's like Jack Grealish. That's like Mohamed Salah. Those are the brand name players of the club.
So
Those are
we
the
get
biggest players in the
so
club.
now you get my
Listen,
point.
pause.
Now you get my
We all
point.
have to
He
remember
picks
something, right?
and choose who he
Drex,
wants to trash.
we living in our real world. We're not living in our fantasy, right? The real world is go like this, right? There's star in the world. There are certain players when they go and play as a youth man, as a young person, when they go in on the playground to play football or to play sports, right? Who does get selected first? Not the best players.
Yes.
Right. So let me be
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Marcus Rashford has been chosen as the best player to be the brand face of this club. Obviously, he had to start games. Some football clubs, some calls has come from above. Now managers could mitigate that situation when they win. Pep will not win the Premier League consecutively, so he probably could dictate more than anybody else. Club
But see,
win a Premier
but
League
it took him
and could
17
dictate.
or 16 games to drop Rashford though. Is it
Yeah,
17?
because you got to remember United. You see, my understanding of United, the way I just look at United, right, is like this, right? United is a club that run and I'm not trying to offend nobody, but it run by an English board, right? And the English board have they always want to have certain English players in the squad because it's beneficial to the team to have a starter playing for England, to have a starter, a top player on English soil playing for this club. It's like part of the fabric of the club. I mean, it's an English football club at the end of the day. So you want to have an English star player who playing football at the club because the fans will be intrinsically centered with that person. You understand? So Marcus Rashford is like a story. You know what I mean? He was talented, had the world at his feet when he was 17 years old. He had a very good football, very good talent. He could have been anything he wanted to be. But he never really let that talent flourish. So therefore, you know what I mean? It's like it's hard to even consider Marcus Rashford in the level that people like when people was fighting for Marcus Rashford to be paid 375k last season. People like Terry Flores, people like Will and them was sure saying let Rashford get his salary. Then I thought people like us who were saying, why are we paying Rashford a new salary? Just extend his contract. And at the end of this season, then we could probably consider extending it. But people were so hyped that Rashford scored 30 GA last season for the first time in 9 seasons that they blinded. Everybody will sit down and everybody, from captain to cook, will find an excuse to blame Bruno for the fact that the players around him are shit and not at his level. But they will look at the facts and say, well, look, if Marcus Rashford had an ounce of footballing intelligence, he would make better runs. He would know how to shield the ball better. He would learn not to jump with his eyes closed and actually jump to make contact with the ball and not just jump straight up in the air like, ooh. You know what I'm saying, bro? So it's like, I
All
mean,
I'm trying
at the end
all
of
I'm
the
trying
day,
all I'm trying to say here is I don't rate someone that puts money over their integrity and over what they are known for. Now, this let me explain. Now, if you are set up to fail and you know it's gonna affect you, right?
Mhm.
Why stay in the failure? I know for sure if
I
Ten
you see
Hag drops.
because
Well, let me just land this. I know for sure if Ten Hag drops his resignation today, however the club wants to coin that phrase, so mutually, whatever it is, if he drops his resignation today, he gets a job almost immediately. I know that for a
immediately
fact. I know that for
he
a fact.
probably replaced this dude at Chelsea.
I know
But
that for a fact. But the truth
yeah, I
is,
agree with that
but
statement, Drex.
but
But
when you want to
see,
sit, wait now, when you want to
Jack,
sit,
but
when you
Drex,
want to sit and make
Drex,
players that are not your
I
style,
want to
when you want
ask you a question, bro. What messages are? Anyway, so YouTube just flagged a message, so you are on their radar. What message is that, Luan? What message is that, Luan?
I have no idea. But what I'm trying to say is, if certain players, if you've been set up to fail in a team, and you still just gonna sit there and try to polish a thought, you want to make something out of what's not gonna be. Now imagine, now you're setting up your tactics now that we've known you to be a possession based coach. Now you come to United, which is rightly so. You don't have the players to do exactly what you want them to do.
True.
Now, but you're always set up a team that you are already at a disadvantage week in, week out.
Why do
Make
you
it make
think that though?
sense.
I'm just asking. Why do you think that why do you think that he's setting up a team at a disadvantage? I don't think so. I don't see
He is. Okay, now you're asking me the question. The question is, first of all, you want to play a possession transitional based football. Now you keep your lone six, you keep him isolated. You don't have the players you have like the Dalo and the Luke Shaw and Reguilon to actually do your inversion for you. They are not disciplined enough to do that. But week
okay.
in, week out, you still do it. You still play a McTominay that cannot look after the ball. See, one of Ten Hag's one of Ten Hag's in this system, for it to work, the key factor is look after the ball as much as you can. Don't just give the ball away. Against Chelsea, we should have gone 2 goals down because McTominay and Amrabat gave the ball away in less than 5 minutes twice.
Okay,
Right
but
now, listen,
listen,
but you
like
still
you see,
play them,
you're
but you
saying
still
if,
play
bro.
these people, and Bruno. We all know before we bought Bruno, our scout said Bruno is one player that loses the ball a lot, but they still went ahead and got the boy, and he helped us that season. With Bruno, we know loses the ball a lot.
Bro, listen to
Then
me.
you have a McTominay that cannot
You
keep
see
the
the
ball.
what ifs? I don't live in what ifs. Listen to me.
No, it's not. It's
Listen
not
to me.
ifs. I'm telling you, this is not
bro.
ifs.
You always live on what ifs, bro.
This
What
is not
if?
if. This is
Listen
what
to me.
I see.
Wait. Your first statement was if the Chelsea could have gone 2-0 up. We beat Chelsea 3-0, bro. So let me stop there one time. Let me just pause.
We beat
Pause for a
Chelsea
cause.
2.
Hear me out
We
now.
beat Chelsea
Because
2.
I don't watch football. I understand how you watch the football there. But it didn't happen, bro. So therefore, because let me be real, football is not a perfect game. Lots of teams just make mistakes, not
It
just
didn't happen
Manchester
against
United.
Chelsea. What happened against Bournemouth? The same thing. McTominay could not
Okay,
keep
but
the
that's
ball
not the
down,
same thing.
but we lost.
So
It's the same thing.
let me ask you a question, right? People say Amrabat bossed the midfield against Chelsea. Why he didn't boss the midfield against Bournemouth?
Did I
No.
people say that?
I didn't say you. I said people said Amrabat bossed the midfield, right? Against Chelsea, but he didn't boss the midfield against Bournemouth. Why is that?
It could be due to strategy and personnel from the different team.
Let me answer this question. Against Chelsea, right? We had the likes of McTominay that because it was a big, quote and unquote, a big game to them. We had the likes of McTominay and Bruno that actually came back, especially Bruno, not even McTominay. Get away, McTominay.
They did the same thing in the next game.
No, they didn't.
They did the exact same thing against Bournemouth.
Against Bournemouth, they didn't.
They did the same thing.
Oh my God, Bournemouth were too clinical.
I could show
Bournemouth were too clinical for us that when they came into our box.
I watched the game twice the other morning, bro.
Tess, Bournemouth had four or 5 chances. Go ahead, Tess.
And
Amrabat gave away the ball twice, and Bournemouth punished us twice. Because Amrabat gave away the ball twice. Chelsea. He missed a tackle the first time he was ball watching, the second time. This is something that happens. And this is because he wasn't match fit, really, because he had no... Yes, Shay, if you want to join.
Mark.
He had no
let Tess land this point. Let Tess land this point.
Mark, what I was going to say, right? I think against Chelsea, right? And what when we were, I won't say, I don't call it luck, but the way we played, if Chelsea were clinical, that probably would have been a different game. Now, Bournemouth, they were clinical. I think the reason we're saying Amrabat's bossed the midfield was more so basically, we had a bit of what they call Chelsea weren't as intelligent, or probably when you compare the way Bournemouth played us to the way Chelsea played, I probably think Chelsea in terms of quality were weaker. The signs were there even after the match against Chelsea. I was telling you, goals. I see us basically conceding goals, right? The way we're playing, and Bournemouth basically, the coach even said it. He said they knew United push players up front, and in that they know if they can break on the counter, they can basically get what they called they can get something out of the game. And basically that was what I saw that against Chelsea. So against Bournemouth, it wasn't different. That was actually happening.
That is what that's the thing I'm trying to say. So when you but when, listen, when we played Mino against an Everton side that almost did the same thing, right? If you remember, Everton's XG was 2 point something, meaning they came at us. We had a Kobe Mino, that was tracking his runner. Listen, was tracking his runner at every time T. He even did a goal line clearance. I'm telling you now that why play? He hardly loses his ball. Why do something with the likes of? Oh man, I can't even care. It tires me out. You know what? Let me just. I think it's we. There's no headway here. Let me just give it up. Like because you can't be doing
Bro.
this week in,
I'll
week
say,
out,
I
week
just
in,
trying
week
to
out,
explain to you
and
that I
expect a
understand where
different
you're coming
result,
from, but that
man.
is your observation, and that is from your perspective on watching football. I am saying from my perspective, McTominay is a form player. He must start. It have nobody that deserve to start in front of McTominay based on his form, right? Playing in that midfield that fit. You can't tell me Medjbury deserve to start in front of him, other than
No,
the fact that you had some moments seeing Medjbury and you think Medjbury would be better. I also think Medjbury is a better player. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to argue anything, and I'm not trying to say, well, that I disagree with you, but I'm just trying to say that from my perspective of football, I could understand why McTominay is there. Not that I agree with it. I'm being honest with you, I don't agree with it, but he's
Mm-hmm.
the form player. And when he's a form player, it's hard to say that, you're not going to be, you know what I mean? It's very hard. Because at the end of the day, it's not like if, every single player just going to be given the same chances or given the same thing. There's players who playing best in the moments. Sometimes the best player on your team might be out of form and you have to sit on the bench. And in that moment, you want the substitute who maybe he not good enough, but he could come on and do a job. And let me be real, guys. Like the substitutes that coming on, some of them not really doing the job that the starters would have been doing. So the drop off is huge in some positions on the field. We still don't have consistency in defense, but we already know we have so many injuries. It's hard. You understand? And that's tough. And Ten Hag trying to imagine, right? Just imagine he have to deal with all the toxicity around the club and the toxicity in the club, on the field, in the dressing room, and everything in the media. It have no coach in world football today that had to deal with all that drama, right? And still keeping the team in the top half of the table, right? In world football anywhere. If Pep had to deal with all of those things, Man City might be in 12th. Because Man City not dealing with half of that, and they in fourth. The great city that's supposed to that everyone says is levels above the rest of the league. They're in fourth, bro. They're sitting in fourth place. Arsenal in number one spot. How many years Arsenal fans have been Arteta out? And look Shay up there, Arsenal fan Shay. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he would agree. 3
yeah.
years Arsenal fans was Arteta out for 3 years. And look where Arsenal is right now. What we going to say that they were Arsenal, or we could have seen what Arteta was building in his first 2 seasons? All I saw was 7th and 8th, and they was getting dropped up by certain teams. When they lose, they was losing big. 5-1, 4-1, 4-0, 3-0, 4. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is,
But
this is
Mark,
3 months after 3 or 4 months, 5, let me say 5, 6 months, 6 months after this manager took us to third, 2 cup finals and win a cup, right? And then we want him out because
no,
we
Mark,
sixth in the table.
Mark, we don't want him out though.
No, that's not you, but the majority of fans, because a lot of it are wrong. I'm just speaking
Okay.
on the fans that want him out, the
Okay.
fans that want him in, and the fans that in doubt. So basically, the majority of fans that want him out, that the fans that want him out, for that reason, I don't understand it. Because I looking at a manager that take the worst United team in the last couple years and get them to third, play 2 cup finals. And if this season, because he didn't implement a system last season, that he implemented it this season, and we have to lose some games in order for that to work until he find the best 11, then I'm okay with that.
Mark,
And
don't get
I've
me
said
wrong.
it before, bro.
I don't have a
If you,
problem with losing games. That's the thing. I don't have a problem with losing games, right? I don't have a problem with losing games on your road to making a team. I'm saying, simply saying, he
are the players
will
you want to see.
he will get sacked because of the players.
What players? The players that win him the season last season, that he dependent, that he you have to give them faith, bro.
Most of
Well, let
those
me ask you a
players
question,
played
right?
for their
If I score
contract.
40 goals for
Look,
you last season, you not go and give
Luke
me
Shaw,
5 games
Dalot,
to catch myself 10
what's his
games?
name? Luke Shaw, Dalot, Rashford. Most of these guys played for their contract, not for the manager.
Bro,
It is right.
always had a new contract since before that, so let me forget Dalot. If you want to talk about the man who signed a contract and hasn't scored a goal since he signed that contract,
Luke
besides the
Shaw, the
penalty,
same thing.
you're talking about
Luke
Marcus
Shaw, the
Rashford,
same thing.
right? All I'm saying to you is that this, right?
Watch it.
The
They are going to give
in reality,
McTominay a new contract. They are going to give McTominay a new contract very soon.
Who is going to give McTominay a new contract?
That's the
board.
club. That's the club you have.
But it's not his fault though. You know, Tesh, I'm just trying to understand. It's like, if I is a manager in a company, I cannot overrule the CEO. So and this is what he's trying to do. He wants to be a manager and overrule the CEO.
I'm not saying overrule the CEO. I'm saying, if you're being set up to fail, do you just stay there to be a failure?
No, you find ways to beat the system, but you don't give up after the first year.
Captain Drex, right? So if I come in, right? So if you're set up to fail, right? As a professional, you can't just leave. What you do your best to what they call it, that's to succeed. That's in every company. You can't just work and leave,
get the sack which is going to be inevitable.
That's okay.
That's fine,
it's inevitable,
but at least you've done your best.
All I'm saying is this, right? He could possibly, it might, now listen, and this is all I'm trying to say, Drex. We might be seeing, like, you ever watch a time lapse when they're building like an event or something, like let me say a festival, like,
Wait, before you go on, let's ask the child, let's ask Luwen what she thinks in all of this. If she can actually just leave us a comment, and because where is she at with Ten Hag and the way the whole thing, the structure of the club? Where are we people at? Let me just, because it feels like,
why you not ask Shay?
Shay is an Arsenal fan. Shay.
Yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan.
He can give a different perspective though, from as like an outsider's perspective.
Shay, what do you think? What do you think needs to be done? Do you think Ten Hag has it in him to actually turn the corner, or do you think these players are going to end up returning the pages, or they're just going to be what we've always known them to be since the past 3 years or 5 years?
I don't know. I think you guys need to get a winning. Man United need to get a striker, like someone very good. Do you agree?
I agree, but getting a striker, who's going to feed him the ball?
I don't know.
Bruno?
Because now is Bruno. Okay, now Mark, take Bruno out of the equation. We are done. In terms of creativity, we are done.
That's not how some fans feel. Some fans feel if
no,
we get
but
rid of Bruno,
is that sustainable? Is that sustainable that you take Bruno out of the question and we are done?
No, but it's not sustainable. But you can't blame a manager for that after one season, bro. That is not his fault. You gotta blame the club and the club recruitment because let me be real, bro. Everybody making an analysis here of our manager one season. They're not even making the analysis of this
True.
manager doing failing for 2 seasons. This manager just came off of one of the most successful first seasons any manager in the history of the Premier League has ever had. Except for the manager who won the first Premier League in the Premier League era. Because he was the first manager to win the Premier League in the Premier League era. But you know what I mean? Understand what I'm saying? You understand? So people now, just imagine we are 15 games into a 38 game season, not even halfway through, and fans already thinking Ten Hag out. Or fans already thinking Ten Hag don't know what he doing. He crazy.
I think the reasons why fans go that way, I think they overthink again. They overthink of they. I think they are not. How I put this now? They
Lack of
overthink our
faith.
current position. They think we are better than what we are.
Exactly.
I think that's why.
I don't think it's they thinking we're better than what we are. I think it's they thinking or they knowing that Ten Hag believes in these players, right?
No, he
Supersedes.
doesn't. You
Wait,
see
listen
here
now.
what's going
Listen,
on.
as a fan,
You just be making some statements, Drex. You're
wait
making
now.
some
Let me
statements
finish.
like,
Let me
bro, you're
finish.
saying it
As a
like Ten
fan,
Hag believe in these
it's like
players.
Ten
I don't
Hag
think
wants to
so.
prove to us. Ten Hag wants to prove a point to us about certain players in this team.
No,
But
Joe,
why you think so, bro? You
I don't
wanna
think
know
Because
so.
something?
I
Ever
don't
that's
think
since
what he's
so.
that
doing.
one journalist say Ten Hag Ten Hag is somebody who trying to prove a point, he's very suddenly everybody to say Ten Hag stubborn. He has to get his way. Everybody
Honestly,
argument is Ten
I
Hag.
haven't even
Listen to me,
this
right?
thing you just said. I
All I
haven't even
saying is
heard it
this.
or heard it.
Huh?
I've not read it. I've not heard it. This thing you just said about the journalist, I haven't read it. I haven't heard it. But I'm just telling you what I feel like he's doing. He
No,
wants
well,
to
you see,
prove a
I
point.
understand why you feel like that, bro. Because I could listen. I wanted to see. I want to see Medri play a lot more games than he played this season. I'm being honest. I never wanted to see Rashford start past the third game this season. You know that, Drex, right? So you talking to your brethren here. Certain players you want to see. I wanted to see start the season from since game 3. But you want to know something? I just think about it from the perspective of I don't like we seeing something from one side as fans, right? Because we seeing it from the outside. We seeing game day, we seeing on the field, we seeing the substitutions. We don't really see what actually going on. So I looking at it from the perspective, listen, this man must be just thinking to himself, listen, I need to use these players. I'm going to use these players for the next. I want to get these fellas ready to be here to replace these players. But either use some players until I could get rid of them or until I could get a valid reason to bench them. Because if you look at Rashford, bro, you can't tell me Klopp could just bench Salah for 3-4 games if Liverpool was losing games. That's not happening. FSG go and call Klopp and be like, yo, it's the same thing with if Haaland, if Pep bench Haaland and City in 6th place, Pep might get a phone call. A reminder like, yo, Haaland, 6th place, get him on the field. Now, this is the thing.
But if Pep,
Now,
what
I
if Pep
just
tell?
saying Manchester is
But
one of those clubs that never really break that mold into the international football club kind of era now, if you understand what I mean. Because if you look at Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, United has started the most English players out of those clubs. If I'm not wrong. The most
on the
English players in our starting 11 has come from
see,
United.
let's wrap up the stream. You and I are going to be here when he gets the sack, right? And we're going to be talking about the players that got him the sack. So let's just
Bro,
wrap up the stream because from what I'm seeing now, it looks very inevitable that he's gonna get it. Like it looks it.
I
He
don't think
can't.
so.
He
I
can't.
think he here until the end of the season. I
We're gonna get.
think Ten
We're
Hag
gonna.
is here until the end of the season for sure.
We're gonna
I
go.
think
We're
it's
gonna
just
get
fans and the
smacked.
media hyping a Ten Hag out because they are
It's not.
impatient and
It's not
it's
about. It's not about
unwarranted.
hype.
It's
Nobody's hyping.
unwarranted, bro.
Nobody wants a manager to lose his job. If those ones
All
that
the
actually want.
fans, Terry Flores from TFT says Ten Hag out.
I don't.
Saeed TV
Terry,
say Ten Hag out.
Terry.
Terry does it for the
You
show. Leave
understand? All
Terry.
I'm saying is,
Leave
bro,
Terry. Terry's one
lots of
season.
rants and bants. What Ten Hag
Terry's
out?
once. Terry's one
Cast one
season
Ten Hag
out
out.
with Arsenal. Terry's another. So Terry is in between Arsenal and United. Leave Terry. Terry does it.
All
I
I
like Terry.
saying to you is, bro, I understand what you're saying
Rants and
about the
Bant wants
players.
Ten Hag out because they don't play Sancho and all of. So people have their reason, but I'm saying the ones that don't have those player Fs. Anybody that is a player FC that wants the manager out is part of the problem in this club. If you're a player
100%.
FC and you want your manager out because he's not doing something, I see people when he dropped Varane the first time. Oh, they were like, "How do you fight with your players of a player of Varane's quality and all of
Listen,
that and
every
temperament?"
time he drop a player for a game, the media just come out and say, "Fight.
Anytime you're
Ten Hag
doing
fall
that,
out with this player. Ten Hag
and
fall out
no,
with
that's the thing.
Casemiro.
If
Ten Hag fall out with this one."
if a fan wants the manager out as a result of a player, then they are part of the problem. Me, I want what I'm saying this is my reason for doubting Ten Hag now, for going say, okay, I want Ten Hag to leave, is as a result of the fact that he has been set up to fail and he's dwelling in the failure. And how do I support somebody that wants to listen now? How do I support somebody that's doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result?
Okay, so
Previous managers have done it. Listen, previous managers have done it and they failed. So what is going to be different in this time?
So if you're going by that logic, then are you saying you will stop supporting United because they are the ones actually causing the problems, not Ten Hag?
If I'm saying no, the club is my club, right? But I'm saying somebody needs to hold them accountable because
Yes.
if you keep listen now, if you keep doing what they want, right? They'll go free with it. Somebody
Listen
needs
to
to
me.
pull out.
I
I
understand what
tell
you're
you
saying,
now.
right? But
I
listen
tell
to
you
me.
now.
Just hear
If
him
Ten
out.
Hag pulls out of this thing and comes out and say that club is poorly run, right? Things would happen.
Ronaldo said it.
Happened,
Nothing
bro.
happened.
Ralph
Though.
Ragnick said it. Cristiano Ronaldo said it. What happened? Nothing.
So what I'll say is that I'm hoping that Sergeant Ratcliffe will make changes. That's all.
Oh, that's even worse.
Well, he is gonna make it worse, bro. That's Glazer
That's
number
Are you
even
7.
worse.
serious?
That's
Yeah, that
even
Glazer
worse.
number 7. Let me just say this, Drex.
The likes of more English players
Drex.
are going to come. The ones that we don't
Drex.
like. I'm nothing against English players, but I just feel like we hold on.
Listen to me.
We hold on to them for too long.
I want Joe Bellingham. I want Jude, little brother.
I actually
want him at United.
I actually wanted what's his name?
United need to get their hands on that youth, man. I telling you, fellas. All I saying to you, all I saying is that the bunch of players that we have, some of them need to go. The practicality of Eric Ten Hag benching 6 or 7 of them players is impossible, right? Let me be real. If you want to win and you want to improve, you gotta do it step in step. Maybe it's going to take him longer than he wanted to, but maybe he might get it right. You see, everything is take steps. Sometimes it take baby steps before you could crawl, and before you could jog, before you could run, before you could go in full sprints. So maybe United fans thought we'd be at a full sprint by now. I could understand. But from my perspective, we at a creep right now, and we starting to walk, right? And the start to walk, the distance between walking and jogging and running is be a very short time frame compared to the between creeping and walking. So we spend the first third of the season creeping and walking, and we starting to walk. It's my opinion of the team. Now, some players, we could tell that they might not be, they would not be here next season. Some players, we could tell they're not good enough, and that's okay. But saying that Ten Hag doing the same things over and over is kind of disingenuous. And the reason why I will say that is because if you examine the last 10 games, you would see that he's rotated a lot of players. Now, maybe he didn't play some combinations that we might be seeing and hoping for. And I could agree with that as well. But I would still say that listen to me. Not because the solution's not coming quickly. Sometimes you just take steps forward and then take a step back. And this happened for quite a few times sometimes in life. Before you actually take the second step forward and just continue going forward and forward and forward. So maybe there's just the process for United. Maybe that's just how the cookie crumbling for United fans. You know what I mean? Ten Hag from what I could see, Ten Hag doing his best. And these players not doing good enough. Right? Because At the end of the day, the superstars with the bigger contracts is the players, right? The fellows who in all the fame and all the limelight and everybody go and love and worship worldwide is going to be the players. And the people who should want to lift trophies and want to win the most should be the players. Because when you enter a sport, it's a competitive nature, a competitive situation. It's not like a regular job where you could say, I'm not feeling well today. I don't feel good today. You know, that's why I didn't perform well. No, if you don't, in sports, it didn't have nothing like that, bro. It's either you win or you lose. It didn't have no, I wasn't up to it today, or my family died, then don't play. People might disagree with that statement and find it harsh. But if something is going on in your private life, then it's better you X yourself out from the team for that match. Because excuses will only be, for me, failure. And the reality of it is, when in a competition, it's not about popularity, it's not about empathy. It's about the best on the day. It have no sorry. You understand what I'm saying? When you go in a boxing ring, and you, as a boxer, if you wake up that day and you're really feeling off your boxing game, you might as well throw the fight because you will get clobbered. You might die. And that's not because the person trying to kill you, that's just because it's a dangerous sport. You know what I mean? So when people making all these excuses about, well, you know, this player, his family wasn't well, or this player this, or this player that, then that player had to be responsible and take themselves from off the team so that they don't drag the team down with them. And this is the problem. A lot of fans don't just make excuses for players rather than say, listen, don't do that. Look at Anthony, bro. Anthony was getting heat and he was in Brazil. The man not even playing for the team, and people was complaining like if he was starting for United still. The man started 6 games. 5 games in the last 10 games he start. He's been back for 7 weeks. 6 games he played. And 3 of the 6, he was one of the best players on the team. People would still say, you know, he's rubbish, a 1 foot wonder. He's not good enough.
My bottom line is, I just don't want him sacked by these people that don't deserve any. Like, you know how I'm so angry at the fact that they don't know anything about football, right? But they decide people's fate. Chess, you get what I mean?
Sometimes, like, listen, that's why I was telling you, Ten Hag is the
I like
best
this
option for United
I like this manager.
fans.
That's why
Because this manager cares, and this manager will get
that's why
it
it's
right
hurting me.
eventually.
I like this manager so much. That's why it's hurting
Patience
me.
is all he needs.
I love this manager so much. He's somebody I wanted. I love him so much. So I don't want to see that stupid.
Him get disgraced. I know
yes,
feeling, bro.
that's the thing. That's
Bro,
the thing. That's
watching
the
Ajax
pain I have.
6 years now, 6-7 years consistently. Like, I always watch Ajax. Like Champions League, I just try to watch as much games as possible.
How do you disgrace somebody like? How would you end up disgracing somebody like that, right? That don't deserve
relax, bro. These is men, right? This is a man's game, and it have the women's game, and the women are great. Like United women went 4-0 the other day, so you know what I mean. Like United women are playing Liverpool at the same time as United are playing Liverpool. So the United men are playing and the United women are playing at both against Liverpool on Sunday. And I think you never know. The both teams might walk away victorious. You know what I mean? It might be a devil's double. So, guys, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we might think, you know, it looking gloomy, it looking dark, it looking tough, things looking like it's a big mountain for we to climb. But then the reality is, guys, we're in 6th position, 9 points off first place, and I know we're not at our best. Imagine if we were at our best. We would definitely be in third, in the top 4. There's time. There's 23 games left, guys. That's 66 points or 69 points, right? So consider it like this. 69 points up for the grabs. That's definitely top 4, right? Be in the running. We need to find better form. The players who are there at the club right now currently. This is what we have. Some of them may not be here next year. Some may leave in January. But until then, we have to back this manager and back this team. Sure, we could criticize the players. Sure, we could criticize the manager. But we always have to remember.
Just just a bit of a positive, right? This current regime cannot sack Ten Hag because
They
why?
can't afford to.
They can't, right? So it has to be what it has to be the new Sir Jim Ratcliffe's people. We don't even have anyone there to sack Ten Hag. To be fair,
Bro, all I saying is if that new regime come in, the best part about it is that DOF
yes,
coming to Ten Hag.
yes.
And I feel like, you ever watch this? I don't know how old, I don't know, I just feel like an old man sometimes, but I had this cartoon long time called Captain America.
Captain America.
Yeah, and they had these 5 rings of power, and it was earth, wind, water, air, and fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
heart,
yeah,
6 rings, and they used to come together and form Captain America, right?
yeah.
Well, right. So like, if we had get Qatar or we had get a full sail, we'd have definitely form Captain America, but you know what I mean? Captain Planet, I mean, but at the same time, it's like right now we have Ten Hag, which is one. We have the fans, which is the heart. You know what I mean? All we need is to get a DOF and a CEO. You know what I mean? And we need to, and then two star players go emerge to finish off the deal. You know what I mean? Like we have one possibly coming up in midfield. It have our next one might possibly emerge from the wingers or the striker. You never know. So I just look at it like it not linear. It's more up and down. It's like music. It's going waves. And right now, United wavelength, we're not vibrating right. And it's probably mostly because of the ownership. They're not leading the charge in the direction that the team needs to go in. And that's a terrible thing. But at the same time, we have to always remember that we might be losing, we might be in a bad way right now, but the manager still implementing the system is a rebuild. It does take time. We all could wish that it happened in 6 months rather than it take 18 months to a year. And when I say 6 months, I'm talking about 6 months during the season, not 6 months including vacation and anything else. I'm talking about 18 months. A season is 9 months.
yeah.
So 2 9 month
Two
seasons,
9 months. Yeah,
I think with what it would take to build this team. And coming out of Europe, I might think is not 100% positive because I feel I'm one of those people that believe that when they coach players, they need to apply it in a game. And I think having
no,
2-3 games a
see,
week would
coming
give
out.
them
Yeah,
the enough
yeah.
practical experience.
I
But
share that. I share that concern as well, right? To
some
actually
people say
practice
that if we have
what you
more time
learn.
to rest and train, we might be better off.
Yes,
So
because
let me see how it goes. Maybe
haven't
the
shown us
system might implement and
this
the team might start teaming. So
these
guys,
players haven't shown us anything to say, okay, they apply what they're being taught in training. So let them have the time of their life out, and let's see, because now there won't be any excuse as to, oh, it's fatigue or what's not and what's not, right? Let's
Mhm.
see what they have to offer now that they're out of the Europe, right? Now that they're out of Europe, first of all, that would give the Glazers some concern to actually see, okay, because the Glazers love to be in Europe. You know what they do? They love to be in Europe. So now that we are out of Europe, let's see if they will take the club, this thing serious, and try to um fix the team even when the window open next month. Let's just see, right? So but on the player
100%.
side, now that we are out of Europe, there's one game less to play. So your energy, the recuperating and the refreshing and all of that, you get to play like what Chelsea is doing once every week, and let us see the excuse. At that point, we would get to know, okay, because if the manager has all of this competition and still did not feed in some French players, I'm waiting to see what will happen when since we're out of Europe, and what will happen with the French players. Are we going to be getting them? So let's just see, because right now what I hate most, and it will pain me to my bone, is these people giving another manager is matching orders. That
They
would that
won't.
would
They won't. They won't. They won't. They won't. We don't have the right management to do that right now.
Bro, I don't even trust this club to do anything right anymore.
Guys.
Guys, it's been a long one. I know I talk plenty. I harassed Rick plenty tonight, Tesh. I had to harass him because
It's good
he was
though. You
on air.
have
He was on
everyone have their hands
fully
on their
loaded,
sleeves.
Tesh. today in the group, the man, if you hear the man charging, bro, he talking to him, bro, this manager, da 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 da. I don't like this, da 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 da. I don't like that, da 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 da. And I'm like, I know I feel like I was the only fan that is look at the system that we playing and saying to myself, it worked this game, but it didn't work that game.
Mark, you're
Amrabat
not the,
bossed the midfield this game, but he didn't
Mark,
boss the
you're
midfield
not
that
the
game.
only player. The
But
truth is,
the only result, they blame Ten Hag.
some of us actually, no, even before the Chelsea, we did the preview for the Chelsea game, and you and I said, I don't want McTominay starting. At best, McTominay should be coming from the bench. He has a way of just trying to influence the game in terms of goal and getting the odd goal here and again, right? I told you that. But you said, and I remember you said, what if McTominay does? You actually said it. You said, what if McTominay ends up doing a double and stealing the show? I said, then that's on him, right? No, but
And he
that
bag
doesn't
a
change.
double.
But
And he
that doesn't
bag a double.
wait now. That doesn't change my stance. That doesn't change my stance on the fact that I still want him coming off the bench.
Okay, I know we've been on this topic over and over again. Quick, let's try. Mark, on against Liverpool, what are you expecting? Result
More
wise,
the same, to be fair. I expect to see a performance quite like what we displayed against Bayern Munich, except I would like to see the attackers be more expansive, more clinical, and make better decisions going. That's the only thing I would change.
Do you think
Same
we'll
starting
win?
11.
Do you think we'll win?
I don't think we would win, but I think we could get a result, man. I think we could go in there and come back out with a draw. It's one of those fixtures that, in the history of United, is one of those fixtures we probably win once every 4 times we play. Once every 2 or 3 times we go to Anfield, and this is the 3rd or 4th time. So it's about to be around that block now. You know what I mean? It's like, when the going comes around, it's about to come around right now. So I mean,
Someone said,
if the defensive and compactness of the team could replicate the Bayern game, and for like, let me say, the moment when we in control of the game, we could be as expansive as we was against Galatasaray away.
Mhm.
I say we could come out with a result. We might shock people and win the game. But it's football. The ball is round. I could never start off a game thinking that Man United going to lose. As a fan, I'm being real honest. If I think Man United go and lose the game from the game start, then I could never watch the game. So I don't think we might win. I might be confident, but I will always have some hope that we could come away with a result.
I always go into every United game, no matter how bad the team. People might say, okay, I am actually flip-flopping here, but that's me. I go into every game with the hope that we would win. If you see me if you see when I watch the game, even my missus sometimes look at me like, why are you watching this game if you're this nervous, right? Like, I watch every game like it's their first time playing.
100%.
So that's why it really cuts deep down. But I know how to control the emotions. I know how to deal with it, right? I think we might get a result. Maybe nick it 2-1 or 3-2.
My concern here, I think we might get a result, but if we play the way we played against Bournemouth and played against Chelsea,
we get smacked up.
Yeah.
If we play the way we play against Chelsea, we would probably beat Liverpool. To be
because the way we played against Chelsea is the same way we played against Bournemouth, though.
No, not really. I think
we did. They were
the defense. I think the defense against Bournemouth. I think the midfield was a little bit sluggish. I think Amrabat was not having a good game at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think when Amrabat have a good game, our midfield is stronger and more compact. You could see it against Bayern. So it's hard to say. And like you see, guys, you have to remember, right? Like I keep saying, time. The team, the coach, everything needs time. The system need to learn to the players. The players need to be comfortable. Then they need to interact and create a chemistry with all the different rotations and different, permutations of players they might start alongside next to. All these things has changed certain circumstances, like starting Delo and starting Wan-Bissaka at right back. Starting the two of them has changed drastically how we just play going forward, how we just defend, how the team is line up and set up during games. So we could quickly say, changing this player for that player for this, but it has changed the dynamics of the team. You You gotta remember it has some players with strong suits, some players with weaknesses and deficiencies as well. So it's always an interaction between the players on the field, players being informed, and the tactics and the coach. You know what I mean? That's just my
Mhm.
guys. Thanks a lot for joining me today. You know, I hope we could do this more often. You know, Tesh, you know, it's always try to catch you, but sometimes I feel like I be either too late or too early because it's be working. Drex,
Big up. Big
you
up.
know, we have some streams to do this week. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Part-time
man.
crime. We gotta do the reaction to the UCL tomorrow. Then we go have Europa League. Guys, join us for the reaction to the UCL roundup tomorrow night. You know, 6 p.m. UK time. You know, there's going to be a reaction to the Europa League as well because they're rounding up as well. And then we're going to go on to preview this weekend's games coming up in the Premier League, guys. You know, exciting fixtures. United face off with Liverpool at Anfield. It's going to be a big one. You know, I'm going to have another reckless, wild prediction for that game because I honestly don't think Liverpool is going to beat us, you know, but it's just my honest opinion. And I could be wrong. And the ball is round and football is, you know, that funny game that's not played on paper. Weird stuff happened. I mean, United got 7 from Liverpool last season. If that's not weird, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, guys, thanks for joining me. All those came in, like, subscribe. Don't forget to check out D Hub Sports. Go give those guys a like and a subscribe. Tesh and Drex, they be bombing it over there. I'm trying to get Tesh to help me play my profile on Foot Champs. You know what I mean? Because I don't
wait,
even
wait,
play it.
you know, wait. So do you play Foot Champs at all?
I have the one that came out early, the
Yeah.
exclusive one, but I barely played. So you know you could do the whole Foot
So
Champ thing without
imagine me.
sending the information.
Imagine me. I have to build it from scratch, though. It's very
You can
hard.
read it, bro. It's no problem. I'll send you the info tomorrow or something. Chat.
Okay,
Rex,
we'll see. We'll see.
All
D
right.
Hub Sports, bro. When you going? When is the next stream?
I feel I was we're looking to do a match reaction today, but no, we've already had the stream. So most likely midweek, probably something on Thursday or Friday. We'll be going through a preview for the Liverpool, and then again a post match reaction after the game next day. So that's
All
it.
right, guys. You heard it first. D Hub Sports match reaction, post game interview. You know what I mean? Post match reaction. Guys, get on these guys. Like and subscribe. Thank you for joining us. I hope you all have a great evening. It's been your boys, Tesh, Captain Drex, and Mark, an MUFC fan. You know what I mean? That's how it goes, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And this has been a stream from Elite Footy Talks Television. And we out, guys.
Peace.
Oh.